Story of Apple. Everything started with two guys who dropped out college and decided to make a computer that people can have it on their office and home. Computers were as big as the size of a room, so somebody had to invent small ones. And two Steves made it. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak founded Apple at Jobs' garage. They first met in middle 1971. Their mutual friend Bill Hernandez introduced Wozniak to Jobs. Wozniak was working on his own project Blue Boxes that enabled one to make long-distance phone calls at no cost. He was a really gifted guy even though he was a self-educated electronics engineer. But Steve Jobs was not an engineer or coder unlike Wozniak. He was just a genius guy who really know how to manage a commercial or have conversations with investors who were interested. Wozniak made a computer he inspired from a computer show on Homebrew Computer Club. When Jobs saw with that computer, he was immediately interested in its commercial potential and convinced Wozniak to go into business together and start a new company of their own. So they put a name on Wozniak's computer and took it to the Homebrew Computer Club and demonstrated the finished version of Apple I. People impressed by it. And Paul Turrell, who operated a computer store chain named the Byte Shop, handed two Steves his card. Finally, they found a client to sell Apple I. The Apple I went on sale in July 1976 as an assembled circuit board with a retail price of $666. Wozniak came up with the price $666 just because he liked repeating digits. Eventually, about 200 units of the Apple I were sold. Apple I had a few notable features like TV displays, bootstrap code on ROM, which made it easier to start up. With this engineering design, Wozniak earned reputation as a master designer. So Wozniak did part of his job and Steve Jobs did too. As a non-engineer guy, he found a guy to invest their Apple company, a millionaire named Mike Markkula, and Mike invested $92,000. Wozniak was working for HP during that time. He resigned from his job at HP to work full-time for Apple and made Apple II. The Apple II went on sale on June 10, 1977, with a retail price of $1,298. Apple II had been very successful and went on sale about 6 million units in total before it was discontinued in 1993. Apple then released Apple III and Lisa, which both failed. But now, with the time that Apple would release a computer which will change the way people saw computers forever. On January 24, 1984, Steve Jobs unveiled the Macintosh to a huge audience. He used his excellent commercial ideas and made computers say hello in text to change people's idea on scary as big as room computer image to a cute computer which types hello to an audience, and it sold well at the time. But Jobs was forced out of his own company by board member John Sculley, who was a Pepsi's CEO at the time. Steve Jobs convinced him with this very cool line before Sculley became CEO of Apple. Do you want to sell sugared water for the rest of your life, or do you want to come with me and change the world? Sculley left the Pepsi and became the CEO of Apple, but tension started to grow between him and Jobs because of internal struggles and product failures. And all of the board sided was Sculley, and Jobs got fired by a guy that he made him CEO. He seemed accepted that he got fired from his company, but not exactly. He used $12 million of his money to start a new computer company called Next. Next was not successful, but it was his strategy. He made him seem busy on the Next and planning good success. But Steve Jobs even knew that Next will be a huge failure, so he moved on a software called Next Step, and software was really successful. Meantime, Apple was struggling on product failures, even though they fired Steve Jobs. Their profit dropped 84%, and that equals 530 millions to 86 millions. And John Sculley resigned from Apple same year. With the success of Windows NT and Windows 95, Mac operating system was falling behind. Apple needed a new modern operating system if they were going to survive the next decade. So Apple's CEO at the time, Gil Amelio, turned his attention to Next. With Next, Apple could finally have an advanced operating system to compete with Windows. In 1997, Apple bought Next for $429 million. That same year, Steve Jobs returned to Apple. Eventually, he would once again become CEO of Apple and dominated the market once again with successful innovations of computer technology and even on music market. He made iPods and introduced them with people. iPod was simple to use compared to other MP3 players at the time, and it was the right size for users. He kept growing and developing Apple. He made iPod, iPad, iPhone, MacBooks, and other stuffs that we are using still today. He was really open-minded and genius guy, even though he wasn't an engineer or coder.